Aloha mai kākou. Looking forward to chatting and talking story about human sexuality and some of its challenges. My name is Maile Aiu Domingo, and I'm here with my partner, teaching partner,
Dave with Ho'omalu Native Hawaiian Organization. And I want to point out something that does not make me feel very happy, because it's essentially what I'm discerning is an assault on kids, and it's going right at their identity, who they are as a person. And they're under such assault today. I've identified at least 6 assaults that, whether they're intentional or unintentional, I'll refrain from that. But first one has to do with their gender. Their biological sex is under attack. So instead of their body determining whether they are male or female, kids are being told today that it's what happens between the ears. Your brain is what determines what your gender is. So kids are being taught that, hey, if you feel like you're in the wrong body, maybe you are. You probably are. And so that's an assault on their masculinity and their femininity, that identity. Second one that I see is their family identity. Whether you know it or not, as parents, there are certain things that are being put into place in the education system, media, and so forth, that is designed to separate your kids from you. I'll give you one example. When Common Core came out, the math that was taught changed from 4 + 4 = 8, and they introduced this entirely new math that you were not trained in. So when the kids have questions and they go to you as parent, which is totally natural and the way it should be, you look at the problem and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't understand this. I don't know the answer to this. You go to your teacher. Look what's happened there. The natural separation, or the natural draw and connection to go to parent as the primary educator, is now shifted to somebody else. And so what that does is it begins a separation in their identity, in their family identity. And that's just one example out of many. And so if they start losing their family identity, then it also affects their cultural identity and their ethnic identity. And piled on top of that, when you got critical race theory, when you're told, hey, if you one white guy, oh, you a supremacist, you arrogant, you've been domineering and so forth, you should feel bad about who you are as one white guy. But if you one non-white guy, oh, you the victim of the white guy, and so you should feel bad because you one victim. And so that's an assault. Then all of a sudden the whole race thing, instead of being celebrated, the whole ethnic thing being celebrated, culture and ethnicity, instead of being celebrated, it's now something to feel bad about or to feel like I'm one victim for. So those are like 4. Another one is the spiritual identity. And so if a child gets separated from parent, that means child is beginning to be separated from parent's faith. You throw in the sexual piece, where kids are being enticed to get involved sexually, and then what do? Who do I talk to when I don't feel so good about getting involved sexually? That's another assault on who they go to. And the more disconnected they feel from their parents, the more they're going to feel disconnected from parents' God. That's the 5th one. Do I remember the 6th one? Ah, yes. National identity. Kids are being taught today, there's a rewriting of history. America, for example, it's all bad. They only emphasize bad things and slavery and that kind of stuff. So they learn to feel bad about being an American. The same thing could be said about Hawaii. And so they're losing this identity. So these are 6 identity things that are core to us, that are meant to help us be pa'a, but the oni, I would say, is intentionally there to destabilize our kids in their identity so they become more susceptible and even rebuilt into a new identity that is not their true self, nor is it their family self, nor is it along the lines of the great celebratory things of their cultural and ethnic diversity identity, as well as being in Hawaii is a wonderful thing. Being in America, there are amazing roots in both places. Both have issues, both have problems, but those are treasured national identities that should be held on to. This one, I did not intend for it to be so long, but this is how important this identity piece is, because parents, we got to wake up. Our kids are under this assault non-stop.
One of the things that I pulled out from all of that is the assault is a separation, right? They're causing separation of the kid's identity, separation of the kid's pursuit of wisdom, separation of the family, separation of...
From their body.
Yeah, the truth of their bodies, separation from truth.
Yeah.
And reality. And so we are really happy to be able to provide for your keiki and for you a resource to address these, to equip your kids to counter those assaults. That's and right. To be armed with the truth of who they are and the magnificent identity that they are, created and valued. And we just want to proclaim that and uphold that dignity along with you. Join us for Onipa'a.
Because identity is a key piece on having our kids pa'a in the midst of all this oni assault. Aloha.
Onipa'a e na ʻŌpio.